All right, guys, it's another very important day. I wanted to lay the groundwork on the actual NeBula exchange, the only place you'll be able to purchase NeBula. How is it all connected? What is it going to look like? What can you buy NeBula with? We're going to go through all of that today. It says this is the only place to buy NeBula. Now, understand what that means. I know kind of the big thing with cryptocurrency is getting your coin on every exchange, but because NeBula, the coin, the price, everything is tethered to the land, when you're buying one NeBula coin, you're also buying 1 mile on NeBula. Because it's tethered, we're not going to be able to put NeBula coin on Coinbase, on Bittrex, because it's not tethered to the land. If we went to those sites, like if you're buying 3 NeBula coins on Coinbase, where is the land coming from? It's impossible. And I know people will say, well, that's a negative. I actually treat it as a positive because everyone's going to be forced to go to the actual NeBula site. And what it'll be, I'll explain it here in a second on the actual presentation of the exchange. When you go to NeBula, when you see kind of the Google Earth type image of NeBula and you zoom in on your land and stuff like that, I will explain how the exchange works. So it says unless another site needs to be set up to handle traffic, and that would, so that NeBula 2 or NeBula Quick or NeBula Exchange or whatever you want to call it, it would be another site to where if you don't care where the land is you're buying, because I think when it comes to people investing in a NeBula, some people will really be wanting to know, where am I buying? Where's the land I'm getting? I want to purchase a certain spot on NeBula. They're going to be big into the land. I love that. That's what NeBula is. It's very unique. But we also have to understand there's going to be other people that just want to buy NeBula because they think the price is going to rise, right? And they treat it kind of like Bitcoin. They don't care where the land is. So the idea is maybe we set up, maybe it doesn't even have to be another exchange, but just a quicker way to buy NeBula to where it's like, just give me the land wherever. I really don't care. I just want to buy it right now. And it's like a quick buy to where you just take the land wherever. Maybe there can be a feature within the exchange that says, I don't care where the land is, just get me 3 NeBula coins and whatever land I get. And we could set something like that up possibly as well. Live price of NeBula always in the top right corner. So this is something that really annoys me. When you go to different cryptocurrency sites and like the actual altcoin sites of the coin, it never really shows their price. I love the idea of being super transparent to where always in the top right, no matter where you are, it will give you a live updated price, especially if you're in the exchange. I mean, obviously, you're going to have to know the exact price, but I want it in the top right. Exchange will be located within NeBula as a tab or a pull down. So yes, the idea is if you're on NeBula, you're on the planet, there's going to be a tab, a pull down, whatever it may be, that can take you right to the exchange. You can just, search NeBula exchange and it'll take you right to the exchange as well. But that's like the whole idea of there'll be different tabs and stuff like that. And when we introduce actually social media and having different profiles and connecting with people on NeBula and trading land, it's all coming. It's all going to be within those tabs. But within one of the tabs will be the exchange. And that's kind of how that will be set up in the site. Deposit USD to your NeBula account and buy directly from a debit card or credit card or whatever. So that's very standard. And I've got multiple examples of it that we're going to go over. Buying amount will be available in NeBula. So this is what you can purchase, right? So you have $10. You can buy in NeBula or miles, which is the exact same thing. Remember, 1 NeBula coin equals 1 mile. You could also buy in acres, kilometers, and then maybe we'll add on more. And this will all be explained better. But this is just kind of the actual, picture that I created to give everyone kind of an example. Like if let's just say, for example, NeBula is worth $25.04. Well, one Nebula coin is worth $25.04. 1 mile, because it coincides, it's the exact same thing, is worth $25.04. Remember, if you're buying one Nebula, you're also getting 1 mile of land on the planet. That's the whole idea. And then maybe if the price gets so crazy into the thousands, people would say, you know what? I can't afford a mile because 1 mile is like $5,000. Maybe I'll just get some acres. You can see there's 640 acres in one singular mile, so 640, if the price is $25.04, that's what would equal that. And then kilometers, there's 1.6 kilometers in 1 mile, so that is just the comparison there, and that's just an easy way to digest it and kind of see the different ways you can buy it. You just purchase one Nebula coin, 1 mile, it's the same thing. You could go in acres, you could go in kilometers, or whatever. It's all there. And then here's another example. You know, you could take a look, live price, $25.04. Buying one coin, you also get 1 mile, it's $25.04. Buying 200 acres, which would be about, 1/3 of a Nebula coin, that would be $7.76. That's the idea of, maybe I don't want 1 mile, it's too much, so I'll just take 200 acres, and, you can see where your land would be. Buying 20 miles would be $500.80 if you wanted to just purchase 20 miles. Of course, it's the exact same. It's 20 Nebula coins. It is $500 if the current price was at $25.04. That's what we're basing this off of. And then there's going to be a possible buying minimum of 2 acres. And then, is there going to be a buying max? It's very important that, if this becomes really big and stuff, we don't want rich people to hold all the land, right? So it's something that we've got to think about and stuff like that. You don't want some millionaire buying up, 300 million miles or like 300 miles or whatever it is. I don't know. I don't know what the buying maximum would be. That would be something to discuss. And then the buying minimum, the reason the buying minimum would be 2 acres is because, if you're purchasing, let's say the price goes up crazy, even buying like 1 acre, you're purchasing such a small percentage of land on the planet. I guess maybe the buying minimum can be 1 acre, because 1 acre is still like at least it's a chunk of land. But like when it gets really small, you're like buying inches or feet. That's like, we can't really compute that. Like let's say the Nebula price is $1,000, and it's like, I don't have that much money, but it's like, you can't really buy less than 1 acre because it's going to be so small on the map. It's like, I'm not even sure we could do something like that. So there probably is going to be a buying minimum. This is all standard stuff. When you buy Bitcoin, it's really a minimum because there's a fee. So there's a fee on that anyway. So the land you own on Nebula will be highlighted. So like, again, if you go in, you can see where your land is. Obviously, that's something that's going to be really standard, of course. You can see what you own. And even when you zoom out, it'll be highlighted and you can see where your land is. Trading land. So you can trade your land with someone from another part of Nebula. So this is something that I probably do want to add. If you're unhappy with your area on Nebula, maybe you're in a very cold climate, maybe you don't like that you're in a desert, and you want to trade with someone, you can we'll have a trading function to where you can say, listen, I want to trade this part of land. Does someone want to trade with me from another part of the planet? And you can get a different area. The land all costs the same. Every mile is the same exact price. It's impossible to make it different. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a cryptocurrency. It's not like one Bitcoin is not going to be worth more than another Bitcoin. They're all worth the same price. Otherwise, it's not going to be able to operate. So they're all worth the same thing, but it's just a cool thing. Maybe you want to buy an island and you're like, listen, I'm inland, I'm pissed off. Let me buy an island. Maybe you can trade with someone, although I don't think really people, when they get on the islands, they're going to want to trade the islands. That's very valuable territory. That's something that I will certainly have a few islands and things like that for sure. But, there's going to be the idea that you can trade your Nebula if somebody is willing to trade. That's the whole social aspect of it. And there's going to be actually a whole different type of social media within Nebula where everyone's going to have a profile and you're going to be able to see where your friends own land. Of course, you don't have to. You can put yourself on anonymous. You don't have to show people how much land you have. But that's like a thing where maybe you and like 5 of your friends all have land on Nebula. You can all friend each other, and it's like an Xbox Live friend thing, and it's a group, and you can see, oh, he's got that amount, he's got this amount, he's over here. It's all together. It's all a community, and it's all an ecosystem, and this is something that's never been done before in human history, and this really is the official evolution to Web3. That's why we need something so innovative, like an actual planet where it's a simulation and there's a time dilation and it's everything. It's all into it. It is historic, folks. Example, trade 12 miles from the North Pole to the Western Desert. Yes, so that is just an example. If you were in the North Pole and you were tired of the climate, you could trade and get kind of a hotter area. Browse land you want to buy on Nebula. So in the exchange, you're going to be able to see, if you're someone that's big into the land, what land is available. Where do I want to buy? You know, when I'm buying one Nebula, you know, you can purchase the land that you want to buy. Or again, some people are not going to care about the land. I totally get that. They're only buying Nebula for the price to hopefully go up. But if you do care about the land, you can kind of see which areas of Nebula are available for sale, because people are going to constantly be putting their land for sale. They're going to be trying to make money. I don't know, could something happen to where people find it so valuable that they just want to hold on to it? A lot of people might hold on to it, but there's going to be so many miles available for purchase. We're talking millions upon millions upon millions, a max supply that's 6 times what Bitcoin is, you know, or whatever. So there's a lot of places to go on Nebula and a lot of coins and a lot of miles to spread around to everyone. And it's like, it's Elysium for the middle class. Elysium for the middle class, that's exactly what it is. Search land types that you want to buy via your search bar. There's going to be a search bar on the exchange. Maybe you want a mountainous area. You can search, are there any mountains available? Is there any island landscape available? I'm guessing the islands are not going to be available, but you never know. Or etc. All land is the same price. I want to hammer that home. The coastline does not cost more. Otherwise, the coin would not be a cryptocurrency. Okay? It all has to cost the same no matter what. If you're in the desert, it's the same exact as if you're in a city or whatever and you own like New York City. It has to be the same. Okay? It's going to develop differently. It's a simulation, but it all ends up the same price. Here's a step-by-step guide. Deposit $10 into your Nebula account, right? So now you have $10 USD in your Nebula account. This is very similar to Coinbase. If you guys know, with Coinbase, you can deposit money into the Coinbase, but it's just USD. So like the reason you do that is so you can immediately buy, right? You're not buying from a credit card, a debit card, a bank account. You're depositing money in, like, it's like an extra bank account. So you're taking $50, you're putting it in your Coinbase account. Now that $50 is on Coinbase and that's ready at any moment to buy Bitcoin. It's the exact same thing. You're depositing it to your Nebula account, and now you have the $10 in your Nebula account. And then you buy $10 worth of Nebula with the deposit that you just put in. You also get $10 worth of land, of course, right? Let's just say, for example, you know, one Nebula is $2, so you're getting 2 Nebula, you're getting 2 miles of land on the planet, and it's costing $10. And then let's say maybe a few days later you want to sell it, sell $10 worth of Nebula for USD. The land goes along with it. Obviously, you cannot sell Nebula without selling the land. It's automatically attached to it. You know, otherwise there would be massive problems and, you know, it wouldn't make any sense. And then you can cash the $10 from your Nebula account to wherever you want to go, whether that's your bank account or wherever you're sending the money. So that's just kind of the whole idea of the official exchange. So guys, once again, that is kind of the gist to the whole Nebula exchange. And I've got another thing I want to talk about, Nebula security and how you're going to be able to secure your Nebula coin and your land. And there's a way to do it, and I'm going to talk about it because I know we all want to store our cryptocurrency cold storage. We don't want anyone hacking it. There's a way to do it that I've thought of that I'm going to talk about. But this is the future. This is what it is. Nebula, it's all Web3. We need a new search engine. I've been thinking of different ideas for a new search engine because obviously Google is just completely centralized and it's completely controlled by the government, and your search results are manipulated by Google. Of course they are. Why wouldn't they be? Google has gotten too big at this point, and I'm sure Google will fight back against Web3. They'll fight back against NeBula. But at the end of the day, it won't matter. You know, NeBula will put Google out of business. It will bankrupt Apple. The idea with the new NeBula phone. It's funny with Apple. Guys, think about Apple and the iPhone. What is Apple's grand plan here? Do they really think we're going to have an iPhone 40? Really? You have not innovated there's no innovation with the iPhones. It's the same thing over and over again. They're waiting for someone to just take them over. It's the same thing. They won't do anything different. They're lazy because they have full control of the market in America. The phone market, it's all iPhones. I'm filming this on an iPhone, and I will put Apple out of business using an iPhone and using Google, and I'll upload this on Google, and I will put them out of business doing it. It is so historic. It's so unbelievable. And this is just kind of obviously the NeBula exchange. This is just part of it. All of this is just the groundwork. But it is something that really is an amazing idea that will hopefully, people will realize. It's just people are so obsessed that it's Google, it's Apple, it's the algorithm. It's just we got to break through it. And I get caught up into it too, where I have to just tell myself, I scream and just you have to start creating, right? You were put here to do something, and it's not to just sit and absorb content through an algorithm on Google, on YouTube, on Twitter. This is kind of hypocritical because I'm uploading this to YouTube, but I'm talking about just in general. I've got to start creating stuff, and that's why NeBula has been birthed by me. And it is such an amazing project, and I think people are going to be blown away. Of course, it's going to start very small. That's how all these things start. Any type of massive innovation is always very, very small for the first multiple years of it. So I just wanted to explain NeBula Exchange. I'm working on right now NeBula security. Hopefully we'll be able to secure our NeBula using whatever cold storage we want, because I'll save it, but the whole idea is you can send the NeBula coin and your land auto locks and no hackers can get in. So your NeBula coin, which is what's worth, you can send it to a cold storage and the land locks your and you can't get hacked. You can't get hacked on your account. That's the idea behind the storage, and the security, but we will talk about that in another video. Either way, guys, that's going to do it for this one. Thank you for watching.